Hey guys, it's me, SSJ Kage, and today I'm doing part 1 of What If Deku Was an Earthbender, so let's get right into it. So now that we have the intro out of the way, we can start off with the what if. So we begin where Deku is in preschool, and he awakens a quirk just like everyone else in his class, but he has an earth-controlling quirk. So his mother takes him to the quirk doctor, and they name his quirk Earthbending. So Deku can manipulate small pebbles and stones, and no one really thinks he has a weak quirk because everyone views his quirk with a similar strength to Bakugo's quirk. So Deku is considered like a prodigy by everyone else around him. So Deku is kind of praised like Bakugo, but instead of being like a big jerk like Bakugo is, Deku just takes this in and he doesn't like try to make himself superior to everyone else. He still has pretty much the same personality as in canon, but this time he has a quirk. So everyone is always saying that Deku has a really, really strong quirk and everyone really respects him. And Bakugo views him as a rival this time. So they aren't best friends by any means or anything, but Bakugo does have a certain degree of respect for Deku because he's the one person that he knows that could really rival him in terms of strength and power. So he never really gets bullied by Bakugo. So so he never actually has been bullied by Bakugo. So Bakugo never threw Deku's notebook out of the window. So here we skip up to where Deku's in middle school. He and Bakugo are still considered the two strongest people in his class. So Deku starts walking home one day. He just decides to take a shortcut home. And while he's walking through the shortcut, the sludge villain attacks him. And it wraps itself around Deku's body, and he doesn't really know what to do. So Deku creates a small fissure in the ground, and the sludge villain falls through it, and then Deku seals it back up. So Deku, he didn't make the fissure too deep. So when All Might arrived, he asked Deku where the sludge villain went, and Deku told him the story of how he sunk it into the earth. And All Might was really surprised that a kid just took out this villain so easily, with barely even any effort. So All Might asks Deku to bring the sludge villain back up so that he can put it into a bottle and jump away. So All Might jumps away with the sludge villain in the bottle, and Deku never grabs onto All Might's leg because he knows he can become a really, really strong hero with his quirk, so he never grabs onto All Might. And I know this is kind of an ass pull, sorry for the bad word, but I'm just going to say that All Might still drops the sludge villain just so that we can still have the same interaction where Deku saves Bakugo. So Deku's walking home from the shortcut, and then he hears a loud boom, and he turns into the alleyway where the sound came from, and he saw that it's the very same sludge villain that he had just taken out, and it was attacking Bakugo. So Deku noticed that none of the other pro heroes were trying to help the situation. They were just standing and watching, and this made Deku extremely angry. So Deku stepped up and he yelled at the sludge villain, and Deku earthbent three pretty large boulders at the sludge villain's face, and each one hit its eye. And this staggered the sludge villain, and it allowed Bakugo to get a breath in, and he cried out desperately for Deku to save him, and Deku rushed towards the sludge villain, and he did the same thing that he did to take it out before. He created a fissure into the ground, and the sludge villain fell right through, but he closed it before Bakugo would get in there. So this inspired All Might to come again, and All Might, same as always, not as always, but as when Deku had taken out the sludge villain earlier that day, he asked Deku to bring it back up to the surface so that he could take it down for real and bring it to a prison. So All Might sends the two boys home, and on Deku's way home, Bakugo approaches him. And this time, Bakugo actually thanks Deku for saving him in that situation. So they still have kind of like a rival relationship. So Bakugo says it kind of sarcastically, but he still actually means it. And Deku says, no, it was my pleasure. And so Deku walks home, and he goes to school the next day, and Deku thinks back to when he had saved Bakugo. And this really inspired Deku to become a pro hero again. So he applies for UA. And no one's surprised by this because he has arguably the strongest quirk in their class, the ability to manipulate rocks and the earth itself. So no one's surprised by that, and Bakugo applies too. So Deku just starts training for those 10 months before UA, before the UA entrance exams. So Deku starts thinking up on like how he can really make his quirk stronger. So Deku goes down to the beach, and he starts training there. So before he actually starts training his quirk, he starts training his body. So Deku in this what if actually becomes like extremely strong, and he becomes a little bit more ripped than he was in the original timeline. So Deku has taken martial arts classes, and now he is a master of, or not a true master, but now he's pretty proficient in the art of Hunga Kung Fu. And for those of you that don't know, Hunga Kung Fu is what the earthbending style that you see in Avatar: The Last Airbender is based off of. So earthbending in the show is based off of this real world martial art called Hunga Kung Fu. And so after Deku was training with this for a while, he realized that he could really use this to become a powerful quirk user. So he starts training by combining his Hunga Kung Fu with his earthbending, and he starts to like gain a full grasp of earthbending. So he has become extremely powerful with it. So now Deku starts with manipulating larger quantities of earth. And on the beach, he just starts manipulating the sand around him. And then he realized that he actually can manipulate sand, which is a subset of earth. And he actually can manipulate the sand pretty well. And so he calls this sand bending. And he knows that he wouldn't really be in a situation where he'd really need this, but now he has this in his arsenal. So not only is he proficient in traditional earthbending from the Avatar series, he is also proficient in sandbending. So Deku just continues to train with this, and then Deku realizes that since he has a connection to the earth with his earthbending, what if he could feel the things in the earth? So he starts trying to feel things in the earth, and then he realizes that he can literally feel vibrations in the earth if he concentrates enough. So he tries to think up of a name to call this ability, and he calls it the seismic sense. So how this works is Deku basically slams his foot down onto the ground, and he can feel everything within like a 30-meter radius by using earthbending. So he starts training with this, and he learned that he can actually use this on sand as well instead of just normal earth. So Deku can use the seismic sense pretty much on any earth-based substance now. He can use it on sand, he can use it on normal earth. He's even learned how to use this on concrete, which he knows will be really useful in his urban environment. So Deku has become proficient with sandbending, normal earthbending, and now the seismic sense. So Deku thinks that he is pretty set for the UA entrance exams. Now all he has to do is focus on channeling all this power into real moves. So while he is training to develop these moves, he develops he realizes that there are two aspects to his quirk. Positive Jing, which is what he calls the first type. This is just attacking and advancing, and then negative Jing, which is evading or going on defense. And so Deku calls these two things Jings, like I just said, and he starts trying to meld these together. And together, these form neutral Jing, which is the art of waiting and listening. So Deku incorporates these two things into his fighting style, and now Deku has a really, really diverse style of fighting. So he waits and listens for his opponent's moves, and then he strikes. And he does this by using the seismic sense to help him. So Deku is all trained up and ready for the UA entrance exams. That's going to be it for part 1, guys. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you want part 2 to come out quickly. And What If Deku Was a Waterbender part 2 should be coming out tomorrow. And if I have enough time, I might be able to release it today. So if you guys have been wondering why I'm releasing all these Avatar series at once, it's because this month is Avatar month. And so I didn't realize this when I first started it. But yeah, this month is Avatar month, so I'm trying to cram as much Avatar what ifs into these last couple days of the month. So be on the lookout for those, guys. And please like, comment, subscribe if you want more. And yeah, bye, guys.
組手は終わり。かかしの勝ちだね。